Trent, you return kickoffs your freshman year at Alabama. Can you take our listeners, and I've wanted to ask you this for a long time, and can you take our listeners through, you catch the ball, right? And then what are your reads? What are you looking at? I mean, you were about the most violent runner other than Derrick Henry I've ever seen. Maybe, at Alabama. But what are you looking at? What are you reading? And what makes a successful kickoff returner?
Well, for me, I always was really, so when I was younger, right, we used to play this thing, called throw 'em or bust 'em up, which is sandlock football and airman's for themselves. I was really good at it because of that. And so when it came to me, so when you look at the kickoff and you got guys running down, everybody spread it out. So that gives you a second to, make a cut or make a guy miss it. Get you in open. It's like you automatically in open space.
Mm-hmm.
So and I always was kind of good at open space. So you see guys like Javi. And the only reason I got to play kickoff return my freshman year because Javi got hurt messing around in practice. And I almost ran one back against South Carolina. Then the next year when he left, I was the main guy. But my two reads would be the two upright guys, the two off protectors. And so if I'm just following behind them, and so Julio was always my guy. And so with Julio, we didn't need two guys there because Julio, he was just a dog himself, and he would make that block. So if I had it or he had it, coach knew that we was gonna go block for each other. And so I would just follow behind Julio wherever he went. I just read off his butt and I just go the other direction because 9 times out of 10 he's gonna knock the person out or he was gonna block him good enough for me to at least get about 50 yards on a play. I mean, if you look at my average on kickoff return, I think I was averaging like 40, 50 yards a kickoff. So yeah, I was, I love kickoff.
Trent,
I love
Trent,
kickoff
what makes a good kickoff returner?
Somebody that's slippery, and somebody that's, he don't have to be the fastest guy, but most time if you're quicker than fast, because Javi wasn't the fastest guy. He was just really slippery. Javier was just really slippery. I mean, but the way Williams out there moving, man, he's fast. He's flying, and he know how to read the hole. He know how to use his ability in open space. He's an open space type guy.
Did you ever have tracks that you had to run? I mean, what I mean by that, Carolina, we had I forget the wide receiver. He was terrific. He led the NFL in kickoff returns, and he would actually catch the ball. He would start. He knew exactly how, in a sense, to kind of press the hole. But he knew where to go to get everybody lined up and moved over to where his blockers. Then he'd cut back across the field or cut into a particular hole or section of the coverage team, and he was off to the races. I'd never seen anything like it. The way that he could set them up and get those guys to move or to get his block set.
And what's crazy about it, because you only need one person to get off track, right?
Yeah.
So if you're running your track and you get somebody, to bite over just an inch too far,
creates a huge hole.
A huge hole. So the game I ran a kickoff return back was against Duke, right? And I fumbled I muffed the kickoff return. And that took everybody out their lane because they were trying to get to the ball or get down there a little bit faster than they usually, go. And so that shifted everybody maybe a little bit over to the right.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I got the ball, I just had to make a play, and still my guys are still up there blocking, but I just had to, make a couple guys miss, and everybody was out their lane. And so I stayed on my track and went back actually the way I was supposed to run, because I mean, you set up your runs on which way you think they're kicking. If they're not going to kick that way, a lot of stuff can be messed up. But if they kick that way, you got a good chance of, breaking that run. I mean, so it is a track that you do have to run, to answer your question.